we have a beautiful story for you from one of our thrivers who truly exemplifies, like all of our thrivers do. There is something about her story of that leap from survival to thriving, that huge leap of faith, that huge quantum leap, pretty much in every area of her life, that just gives me chills. And I'm so happy to share this story with you. Raquel, are you here? Would you come to the mic?
I am here. Hi, Dr. Valerie.
Hey! How are you?
I am really, really good. Glad to be here. And it's funny you said the thing about leaning into trust because, you know, being a high achiever, recovering perfectionist, I'm like, I have to get ready for today. And then my
Well, are you
authentic wisdom
ready?
was like, what does that even mean? Just go to the call. Go to the call.
I
So
love
super,
that.
super, super happy to be here with you. And thanks, Elise. Uh, yeah, should I share a little bit about my story now?
Yes, please. Tell us about your story. We
So
your story
go ahead.
started at a TTE as well, just like this, a few months ago. When was it that
Um,
you attended?
August.
August.
Mhm,
Mhm.
August. So it all started, a friend of mine, a client of mine actually was like, oh my gosh, Raquel, you have to read this book. And she knew I would put off ordering it, so she bought it for me and sent it to my house from Australia. So there's your first. I am not in Australia. I'm in the States. And that was probably in May, and I didn't read it until June, July. It's like my wisdom knew what was about to happen in that book, and it's like I wasn't quite there yet.
Uh-huh.
Um, and I started reading and just felt like it was a synopsis of everything I do in my coaching business, everything I'm invested in and care about, trauma and feminism. And it was like somebody finally put it all together. And I was so excited that there was a free thing. And I went to TTE that August and, really gave myself the whole weekend, was resistant to doing that. I don't have kids. Like I just, I have a whole busy life, and I'm like, a whole weekend. I'm really going to do this. And one of the best decisions I've made, I went to that TTE, really let myself go for it, and just felt like this is exactly where I'm supposed to be. Like my thriving journey probably really began a few years ago when I left a toxic marriage, started my business. And I knew this was that next catalyst for me. And so I went to the TTE, and at that point in my business, which really, what, 6 months ago? Am I doing that right? It feels like 5 years
Ah,
of change that has occurred since then. And at that point in my business, like, I had a call with Dr. Valerie, being super concerned about price of, I knew I wanted to be in the thriving circle because I always want to do the best version of everything. I'm sure all my thriving high achievers who are now discovering that they're living in survival feel me on this one. I always got to do the best of everything. And, really knew that's where I needed to be, but had no clue. I just like couldn't even fathom how I would be able to make that big of a jump in income in literally weeks. And I'm a coach for people with chronic illnesses like myself. And I went to the call with Dr. Valerie, and about 2 weeks later, I came back to her and I was like, so you're never going to believe this. I decided to raise my prices and just reached out to all current and past clients, and I made $30,000 in sales in 5 days, which at that point in my business was like, I did check the numbers. I didn't even clear 30,000 the previous year.
mhm.
Um, and I actually, like, I was just planning on doing this sale. I had the call with you. My logical brain wasn't even putting any of this together. I was just like, I'm gonna let the, wanting to be part of the thriving circle motivate me here. And it was truly wild. And I actually not only joined the program, but my partner and I went on like a 5-week cross country road trip to celebrate. And like, yes, yeah, it's been a wild ride since then. And so much more has happened even since then.
Speaking of how good can it get?
Yeah. It's
Ah,
wow.
and it is so much. I love so much about your story, Raquel, and that you already were on your thriving journey, as you said, because you already said no to
Mhm.
some toxic things. You said yes to some liberating things. And it was really about getting it all to flow to that next level of how good can it get. And when that desire stirred up in you about, oh, well, yeah, of course I want to be in a thriving circle, obviously what and
Obviously.
what became possible for you. And I just really want to honor that you came in ready, like we didn't, like I can take absolutely no credit
There was
for
no selling that occurred on that call. Not any. It was just me talking about how excited I was to be a part of it.
And I was like, okay, I guess we'll see what happens. And then when I saw your name on my calendar 2 weeks later, I'm like, I am curious. And of course, I had no idea or expectation. And you totally blew my mind with telling me what had happened. You were ready, like everything was lined up for you in terms of your business, like you knew what you were doing. And that probably is true for so many of you right here witnessing this story, right? Everything is there. You know what you're doing. You're brilliant. But something, right? Something is between you and that thriving life. And and something happened for you when you opened up to that desire. And it does take a lot of vulnerability to go like, I don't know how I'm going to make this happen, but I want this. Even wanting this, desiring this takes a lot. And once you did, you opened up to this whole magic. Okay, now let's figure out how. And boom, 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 boom. You did. Hmm.
It's and even since then, like just the shifts that are happening, I'm getting
Yeah.
ready to do a a big launch. I'm going from one-on-one to like a bunch of different group programs. And
Yeah.
um it's like things are happening internally for me that are going on in the background that I'm not even aware of a lot of the time. And it's just like all of a sudden I will look back to 3 months ago and just be like, holy shit, I'm so grounded. I'm so
Mhm.
clear. Like I and I know this sounds so like, whatever, but I am like the money doesn't even matter anymore.
Mm.
Like, it's just one more area where I can just manifest the things that I want. And but I yeah, deep deep important things are happening here, and I'm just so grateful to share this. And I also realized my office door has been open this whole time, so the whole household has gotten a taste of my testimonial, which they've already heard before. So taking everybody higher. Right?
Woo!
Woo!
Beautiful, beautiful. You are taking everybody higher. And for everyone listening, just allow your subconscious to take that in, that by your success, your breakthroughs, your manifesting that next layer of your desire, whatever that
Mhm.
is, that next level, you are taking everybody higher. And I love how you said money is just one area where I get to manifest things. And you've also, seen those shifts in your relationship, from what I understand, and how you were able to, take that uh, um, bucket list trip cross country for 5 weeks. That's just mind blowing.
Yeah, I mean, I think in the past few months, like things that are totally outside of my control, right?
Mhm.
I'm not happy to share this, but to share this here, my mom has been an addict for most of my life.
Mm.
And a few months ago, she got sober, which is something I never, ever, ever thought would happen. Um, Big shifts are happening in people around me. Like, and it's not like, oh, it's because I'm doing this work, but some of this intergenerational healing stuff is, there are things that I cannot explain um, that are happening, and I know it's part of this.
Wow, that's so powerful, Raquel.
Mhm.
I'm wondering if you have a message for yourself back
Ooh.
at that August TTE
Um,
from where you are here now.
the I would say to me, the part of you, that stirring of desire, like, you're right. You're 100% right. And nobody is necessarily going to understand this. They don't need to. I remember, I don't think I've actually even shared this with you. The day like before I signed the contract for the Thriving Circle, I still was in this place of like, am I sure I'm going to do this? Because I knew what a big decision it was.
Mm.
And a hawk flew into my backyard and like swooped down and left. These things don't happen. And I remember looking up like spiritual meaning of hawks and I can't put it together in this moment, but um, yeah, you're right. You're so right.
Mm.
Everyone else will figure that out later.
That's such a great
Oh,
message to yourself. You're
yeah.
right. You're right. It lands so well, doesn't it? And for everyone, what if you were to give yourself that message? Yeah, you're right. If you want something, if you know something deep inside, you're right. Woo! What a message. Raquel, it's such a joy being on this journey with you and seeing you spread your wings more and more and have more fun and create this amazing change in the world with your beautiful work. I love that when you uh, just when you made this financial breakthrough initially, like right away, like another goal for your business came in. I don't know if you remember that. That just impressed my socks off once again and showed me exactly like once again what happens once we're like a yes to the desire. Like a few days before, that seemed like a complete impossibility.
Yeah.
And then it became your reality and your desire right away, like, oh, well, let's 10x that and then some, right? Like,
Yeah. Yeah. And I'm gonna say it again out loud because I feel like it's helping, but I set this goal to make a $500,000 in my business this year.
that's so
And
beautiful.
I feel that in my soul that you're right. But I don't I look at this and I can see the math, right? Like the logical part of me, I can see it, but that's a big reach.
Yeah.
Um, but I think the thing that's so cool is like I ultimately know like I'm whole and I'm just playing in this field of manifestation and
Mm.
none of this matters at all. It's just for fun.
And yeah, and if you're gonna play, why not play the game of how good can it get
Yeah. And
versus a game of how much can I bear?
I feel like the I've fully integrated that amount of money like into my body. I feel safe thinking about that amount of money, which is I come from a family that has no money. Like this is huge intergenerational stuff at play. And
Yeah.
if any of you can hear that voice in you that's like, you're right, you know, she's not messing around. she, she knows things that you can't possibly know right now.
Yeah. Oh, I got chills. Yeah, yes, she does. And patriarchy told us not to trust that voice
Oh yeah.
because there's nothing more disruptive, nothing more dangerous to the status quo than a woman who is in touch with her desire and trusts her desire and acts on her desire. What? And thank you for embodying that truth and safety and possibility in living that, Raquel.
Well, thank you for doing this incredible work and taking me along with you. This
Mm.
is fun.
Pleasure
Fun's
to
an
change the world
understatement.
with you, and I'm excited about your goal and getting to play with it and support you in that and celebrate that. Woo! Thank you again for sharing with
You're
us
so
today.
welcome. Yay. I see all the celebratory hands. Thanks, guys, for listening to my story. Listen to your
Mm,
souls. She knows
mm,
things.
beautiful. Yes, so much love in the comments. Thank you all for your love and for the celebration.